Up, my people. Salute. Yes, I'm back in the building, y'all. Wouldn't expect me to see me this late, right? I know. I know. Usually at this time, I'm sitting back and I'm relaxing, either watching some boxing or getting ready for tomorrow's show. But I said, hell, you know what? I was supposed to came back at 6:05. I owe another live, so why not come back and talk a little boxing, but not just boxing, but amateur boxing. It's a big show going on this week, but hope everybody's Wednesday was chill. And if you're still traveling, man, and you're out there, man, I hope everybody's all right. Wish nothing but the best for everybody and hope everybody gets to where they're going safe. We got a fight week coming up. Not only in professional boxing, but I can't think of who, but I know for as far as my amateurs, that's what I'm on right now. That's what you guys are gonna see me do a lot because this professional boxing shit is it's too much. It's too much into your feelings, and I can't deal with it. But it's a big show this week. Strong Island Fight Night Series 9 live from Long Island Stereo Garden. So we're going to get into that. So let's go. For my newcomers, my regulars, everyone, welcome back to the Don't Duck Zone podcast. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe, baby. So I was sitting here saying, you getting caught up in all these other conversations about professional boxing. You forgot that where your heart is at, amateur boxing. Sometime it happens. But there's a big pay-per-view fight this week. It's not on pay-per-view. I always call it the amateur pay-per-view because the event is so big that so when you hear me say an amateur pay-per-view, it's actually not on pay-per-view, but it just sounds good. But shout out to Christian um for putting it together, for taking this amateur show and making it so dope where people have to win the belt, then defend it. It's probably one of the brightest things I've ever heard of. And I haven't been in amateur boxing. I haven't been in amateur boxing that long, but I've been in amateur boxing just enough where I've never heard somebody win the belt and then defend it in amateur boxing, which I think that's the most dopest idea that he could have came up with. So shout outs to Christian for that. I missed about two or three shows, which made me mad. I was like, oh my God. But this Saturday, I'm going to try to do my best to arrive. Gazo, what up? To make it there. Um, Shouts to all the fighters that is on that card. I can't go by match. I'll probably come back here Friday night to talk about it. I don't know all the matches by heart. I do know the faces, but that's really not important. We're gonna probably come back here Friday to talk about that. Um, but far as all the people who was on the card, it is a big card. For some guys, it's their first time. For some people, they're familiar with it. Some people have been back two, three times, or maybe four times. So for a lot of people who's on this card this week, it's a dope card. It's a dope card to see. And if it's time for some of y'all to get with the program to start following amateur boxing and stop praising these pro fighters. I mean, that's cool, but a lot of these amateur fighters are the future, but that's here and there. Um, I remember the first time actually going to Strong Island when I first got invited to it. And, me and my wife, and we had to take a train halfway there, and we had to get picked up by a coach. Shout out to Coach Tammy, had picked us up and rode from there. And man, it was a long way, man. And we're in New York, so it's sacrifices we have made to go every time it comes up. It's been a while since we have went. And I was saying to myself, I think I missed the last 2, 3 events, and I'm like, no, man, I got to get back to it. So that's what we done working on doing for this week, trying to get back to it. A lot of times it's difficult to make these shows. You know what, y'all? It's crazy because I remember spending 2024, 2023, and 2022. Um, I was going back to back, like I was winning championships, going to these amateur shows. Um, and I make sacrifices. Yeah, my niche is definitely amateur boxing. So, sometime I got to stop getting caught up in talking professional boxing. I'm finna stop all that, slow it down at least. But yeah, everybody try to find their niche. But it's crazy that when we really want to do something and we really want to get somewhere and we want to be a part of something, we'll actually be able to do it. Because we all are trying to find that niche and what it is that we like to do and stick to it. So for me, that's what amateur boxing became for me. It wasn't just about the sport of boxing. Amateur boxing became that niche. It became that it just became a whole is my oh man, that's cool. That's cool. Picasso, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool. So I realized that it had became my niche. It became my everything. And when I'm going out there and I'm seeing these youngsters put it on the line, because Picasso in boxing, when we say we want to see the best fight the best, we get bits and pieces of that, and it's cool. But in amateur boxing, it ain't no ducking. I probably seen just as much as great fights in amateur boxing, more than I probably seen in professional. Yeah, I haven't sparred in God knows when. It's probably been like a year or two since I've sparred. I'm gonna at some point get back to where I need to be. I just been in my own world. But this card right here is not televised. There's no link for it. I wish there was a link for it. Usually, you guys, I have to wait till like a week or two after. But if you're not following Strong Island, if you have Instagram, follow Strong Island. I'm telling y'all, some of the most amazing kids in New York City are on these fight cards. A lot of them couldn't be because they're at the Nationals, but the ones that's all, we got to pay them respect. And because a lot of them are working hard for this card. They working hard to get this opportunity. A lot of kids in the city would like to be on this card, and they don't really get the opportunity to be on there. So Christian Vasquez, please follow him. Which he's a dope dude, and I know this is gonna be a busy week for him. I might try to get him on here. He's a very, 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 very busy man. But that's my niche when it comes to this amateur boxing. Not just New York, but like I said, period, man. And I have to start separating myself from this professional boxing talk just a little bit, just a little bit, because that's not really my niche. I love it, but it's really not my niche, and I'm realizing that once you separate yourself from something, you can never be a part of it. And I go all out for these amateurs, man. I can't send them off to the nationals. I can't sponsor them um, like I would like to. Shouts to Coach Tammy because she does a great job doing that. If y'all don't know who Coach Tammy is, TMZ, follow her on Instagram, Tammy Brown, doing what a lot of men can't do. If I could do all that for these fighters, I would be gladly to do it. Um, and I want to get myself in that position where I could, be able to send these fighters off and sponsor them and get patches with my logo on it and be able to send them off to fight with it on there, which would be a great look. And it's not that it can't get done; it's just that I have been procrastinating. You got a niche for something, you got to go ahead and take advantage of it. I don't take advantage of my niche, and that's a problem. And I think all of us got something that we want to take care of, and we need to go ahead and do that before the time expires. Because once the time expires, it's going to be kind of hard, um, for you to say, this is what I want to do. But Strong Island Fight Night Series is great. Every time I go, it's like being a part of a WrestleMania event. Sometimes it's in Long Island, sometimes it's in Queens. I'm sure after this, um, probably at the end of the year, should be coming back to Queens. I'm hoping, because Long Island is a long way. So by December, he should be back in Queens, and then, or it'll be back in January, whatever they decide to do. But shouts to all the fighters who are on the Strong Island card. Shouts to any fighters that's fighting this week. Texas, Ohio, Jersey, Maryland, Kentucky, Seattle, California. It doesn't even matter where you're from. Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, man. Down south, shouts to all my amateurs. Black, white, Latino, females. Shout outs to everybody. Picasso, I'm going to be real with you, man. We better start doing the right thing, because if we don't, we'll find ourselves regretting and being bitter and just getting caught up in a whole bunch of nonsense like you see in these boxing talks. It's not even safe to have a boxing conversation no more. It's not. So, for these amateurs, I always focus on them, but it's really time for me to focus more and more on them, because I notice I always fall back and I have these talks about professional boxing and it doesn't lead to anywhere but um, people in their feelings. Nah, but I won't let it discourage me from talking about boxing. But there's times I will be falling back. So there's times y'all gonna walk on here and think that I'm gonna be talking about some big fight, and I'm not. But I'm gonna get all the while we wait for all the big fights to happen, the ones that's already signed. I will be going back to get my amateurs back, man. You see, so far I had two of them back to back. I was supposed to be working on some this week. I'm gonna reach out to maybe two of them tomorrow if I can and see what we can make happen. But yeah, I'm trying to do the. Well, I ain't gonna say try. I'm doing the right thing, and we all have to do what's. We all have to do what works for us. When I look at these kids and see how hard they train, the hours they spend in the gym, a lot of them still have to go to school. Some actually have a 9 to 5 job. It's a lot with them, and they have to still manage to train. So, that's why I always give amateur boxing their flowers. A lot of people are starting to see that, and for the last year or two, people are starting to jump on it now. They're not on it heavy like I am, but once in a while, they like to go in that direction. Keith Cologne was an amateur, and I remember, and I lost the doggone interview. Well, I didn't lose it, but I did an interview with him. Keith Cologne. I did an interview with him 3 years ago. I have a Facebook group right now called McLean's Promotion. Before there was a no duck zone, there was McLean's Promotion, which I still have today. I did that interview and something happened where somebody blocked me, or they didn't block me. They said I did something and my whole group got dismantled. And I had to do everything over. I lost that interview with Keith. But then I got other interviews when you go with him on Instagram. I got with him. I don't think I did anything on YouTube, just Instagram. But before anybody even found out who Keith Cologne was, I already had that convo with him. So, I'm gonna be respectful because there's no need of just saying stuff crazy. But it'd be best if you guys get to know who these amateurs are. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying you gotta fall in love with them, but it'd just be best if you just take the time to look them up. I didn't say you had to reach out to them. You got to be buddy buddy with them, but just take the time to see what it is that they actually do. Because these kids are great. Rather, if you want to believe it or not, these kids are great and they're amazing. And they work just as hard as your favorite fighter. But how the Strong Island works is that people who defend their title or people who win the belt, if it's your first time and you win the belt, by the time you come back a second time, you will be coming back to defend that belt. Yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, CJ, and I called Johnny about that. Me and Johnny spoke about that, but I even hit him with it. Johnny said, "No, it was all right because you were being respectful." And my thing is this, man. That dude is a troll. Me and him already talked about it. Me and Johnny, we talked about it. And he was like, a lot of people wasn't mad at me, but people was like, "Oh, I didn't know because he's a troll." But I don't mind you being a troll, but when you sound like a stupid troll, that's just something I can't take. But see, that was my fault because I should have never pulled up anyway. My thing was I should have just pulled up when he got off, but I could tell that dude is a dude who likes attention. Yeah, yeah, of course, Picasso. That's all I try to do. That's why I said what I said today when I did my morning chop up. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna mind my business. I'm gonna mind my business, and I'm not saying nothing about nothing anymore. And I'm just gonna focus on what's ever going on in boxing. I think that fits me and fits my podcast, my show is what I'm gonna talk about, and I'm gonna mind my business because last night, when he said what he said about like it was gonna be the biggest fight in the world, you trolls, your problem is y'all need to go find a 9 to 5. You guys need a job or something because you guys are bad at what you do. But hey, whatever. I don't have time to worry about them anymore. It is what it is. Um, but this amateur show, like I said, it's a great show. If I can get there, I'll be talking to a lot of those fighters, and that's what I'm just gonna do for now, guys. Stick to stick to that because we all have to do. We just basically all have to do what's best for us. It's that simple. And do what makes you feel good. So Picasso, you know what your responsibility is. CJ, my man CJ, my West Coast brother, you got your podcast. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you. When you talked to me about earlier this year about getting it and you said, hey man, I'm about to get it, I'm proud of you that you got it, brother. You when you asked me about it and um what was some of the things that you should, and remember I told you, I said, yo, just be yourself. You know what, Picasso? I've been doing this for not long like everybody else. But what I learned was, if you're gonna do this, don't be something you not to try to blend in with everybody else. A lot of guys that you see are trying to follow somebody that they look up to. And you see it. I'm never afraid of saying what needs to be said when it needs to be said. Um, I just want to be able to express how I feel. That's what a content creator is about. Content creator is not necessarily you getting on here and just running your mouth and not knowing what you're talking about, which you see a lot of people do today. But this is the reason why I say, you know what? Um, I'm just going to stay in my lane, and I'm going to continue to talk about whatever boxing I want to talk about, not what people are forcing me to talk about. Tomorrow at 6:05, it's Throwback Thursday. Y'all know every Thursday I talk about throwback fighters. I'm talking about David Tour tomorrow. Every Throwback Thursday, I've been consistent where I talk about rather if a fighter's deceased or rather if he's alive. I'm doing David Tour tomorrow. I wasn't going to do morning chop ups tomorrow morning. I don't think I am going to do morning chop ups. I might just start it off with boxing since it's Throwback Thursday. I haven't just thought about who I want to talk to about yet. I'll think about that one. But we all got to stay in our lane. That's all. When I did that, CJ, and I don't think I went too crazy because it's not like I invited the guy to my frame. I didn't do any of that disrespectful stuff. It's just that I can't take stupidity. And the thing was, like Johnny said, some people like when you get wild up. Some of these trolls like when you get wild up. Some people from other channels like when you get wild up because they know exactly what they're doing when they do it. And if you fall for the bait, they win. Which is why I don't allow those kind of people over here. Y'all don't see them kind of people over here. If you do, you'll never see me bring them up on live because we're not going to confuse people in the sport of boxing more than what they are already. Some people are confused and don't know what's going on, and the stuff that they see go on, they think it's supposed to go on. This is why I focus on amateur boxing. And I just didn't want to put it out there for just anybody. People want. Yeah. Hey, that's cool, Picasso. And Picasso, we've been in the same chats for about 3 years now, and there's places we've been to where, like I said, these conversations have got crazy over the years. So, when I walked into amateur boxing, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was the best decision I could have ever made walking into amateur boxing. When I vowed to say, hey, I'm gonna come over here and support these kids, some of these adults, even though they tried to block me, because as of right now, I'm not blocked, but certain places they tried to block me and stop me from what I'm doing, which is crazy. Because I have a right to record, to give these fighters something to look at 5 years from now if they decide not to box anymore. And then you got a person who's just like, oh, we're not going to do that. But you know the thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, there's not a person on earth that can stop me from being great. And if I can help these fighters in any kind of way by doing that, I'm going to do it. I got to do it. If I have to walk through the devil 5-6 times to do it, then I got to do it. Now, before all these other conversations that we was just speaking about, hey, look, y'all ain't got to listen to me. I'm just a person who speaks with passion. That's all. I'm not. If I made anybody feel any kind of way, I don't know what to tell you. I feel like you was talking to me, McLean. Well, then you must not be doing what you supposed to if you think I made you feel some kind of way. But don't worry, I'll be minding my business because amateur boxing and whatever else is going on in professional boxing that I want to touch on is what I'll be touching on. I'll let the rest of y'all have all that. Um, you know what it is? It's easy, Picasso, right? And I say this constantly. People want you doing good, they just don't want you doing better than them. And that's how it is, and that's how it always will be. But do I let that stop me from being great? No, because if it wasn't for the sport of boxing, it's not just amateur boxing, just for the sport of boxing, period. I love it. I love it. Some of these kids that's fighting this week, this Saturday, that some of these faces that y'all see right there on that thumbnail are some of the most talented fighters in New York City. Some of them are ranked high too, outside of New York. I don't know what some of them are ranked in New York, but I know outside of New York, a lot of them are ranked. And a lot of them don't even have, maybe, I don't even think anybody that's on that card that you see right there have even 50 fights. Some may have 20 something, some may have a little lower. Some got 8 fights, some got 15, but they are talented amateurs. So a lot of this stuff that go on, man, I don't be caring no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? I realize that if I'm not careful, I'm gonna get caught up in situations like I was last night on the hangout spot. And I refuse to get caught up in situations like that. Why? Because I am better than that. I'm not better than anybody, but I am better than that. To allow that to happen is a no-no. But like I said, these kids on here um, are great kids. I've had the honor and pleasure of talking to a lot of these fighters. I'm familiar with a lot of their gyms. I'm familiar with a lot of their coaches. It feels good when I can pick up the phone and hit them up on the gram or hit them up in their personal number, their direct number, and I can talk to them. All I ask y'all to do is, hey, just remember the fighters that you're rooting for today, they're gonna leave. Even when you look at the Abdullah Mason, who's still young, but about 5 years from now or 6 years from now, there's somebody coming right behind him now. And when it's time for him to leave, where do you think the next big superstar is coming from? Now, granted, you got some guys who go pro, it didn't have no amateur record, never did amateurs. They just trained to jump right into the pros. Okay, hey, I need a way to make $1. But then you got those elite fighters, they come from the amateurs. So when that kid is sitting there on the hangout spot and he's saying people are not paying attention and as if the writing's on the wall and this and that, man, listen, he didn't know nothing of what he was talking about. Because while we're talking about this circus, we got the next up and coming stars right here, not in just New York, but in amateur boxing all over the world. Now, keep in mind, I told y'all that I can't say anything because no plan is together, but I'm going to be a part of this amateur boxing a little more than what people think I am. I'm just not in the position to say what I really would like to say. This is gonna be an amazing show, man. Like I said, Friday, I'm gonna try to see if I can get up with some of the kids on the show, and we're gonna make something happen. Tomorrow, like I said, I'll be back to talk David Tour, and I'll think about somebody to come back with in the morning. But I want y'all to know that I'm gonna. It's gonna be times I come up here. Y'all gonna see some amateurs up here. If not the fighters, then the coaches. I completed under alliance in New York and Morocco. Goes from the same team. Look him up in New York. He is a Dallas location where I was trained. Oh, okay. I got you. Got you, Picasso. I definitely will. I definitely will. That's cool though. That's dope. I like that. That's dope. See, people may not know that about you, Picasso. They don't know that about you. A lot of us don't know nothing about each other. I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of us just know what we see on social media. A lot of people don't know that um, outside this boxing, a lot of us are good dudes. We good people. We're just passionate when it comes to the sport of boxing. Now, being passionate and being emotional is two different things. Me, I'm very passionate. Amateur boxing, I'm passionate about it. So, if there's ever a moment where I might crash out, yeah, I would have every right because those fighters, those young women, those young men work their asses off to get to where they at. So to see them get all the way to that point sometime and to get it taken from them, it disgusts me. It's very disgusting. But hey, it's a part of the sport, right? But this show this Saturday, Strong Island Fight Night Series 9, is going to be great. Like I said, go to your Instagram. A lot of those fighters on there. Um, I'm going to give a lot of y'all their Instagram. Stay with them. Just watch and see how special they are and what they can do. And I wish there was some type of stream where you guys could see it this week. If it's some kids that don't fit to boxing, send them to school for because I'm tired of everything. I could yeah, I'm hoping one day to have my own gym. That's my goal. And that was never a goal before. Boxing gave me that option. Now, some guys might say, I don't want to run my own gym. That's a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. Like sitting up talking boxing for 3, 4 hours on a live, that's a lot of work. Some of you guys are on YouTube so much, you might as well be in the gym. You can go live 3 or 4 times a day and spend about 4 hours a day. That's a lot. That's a lot when you add all that up. But my goal is to have a drink, to have a gym. And whatever y'all goal is or whatever y'all niche is, I pray to God that everybody gets it. Even for the people I might dislike or the ones that might dislike me, hey, no hard feelings. God bless you. May God be with you. But I hope everybody gets what they need or what satisfies them. We can't be up here with hatred. I hate this guy. I hate this. I hate. There's no need for it, right? It's not good when you're cursing somebody else's blessing because the tables can turn. So I always keep that in mind that I go, you know what? It ain't good to be like that, bro. Nothing good is gonna come out of that for you if that's how you're going to be. That's why I always tell y'all, hey man, rather if you subscribe to this channel or not, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's gonna be lit this week, man. It's gonna be a real lit, and this another boxing show going on Friday. And October 31st, uh all my amateurs will be receiving their rings for winning the ring masters. That'll be going down on Halloween this year. Halloween, yes. For some of y'all that don't know, like what? Halloween is when? Yeah, this year. I have quit my job to operate a gym, which I had a couple windows of opportunities, but I choose to finish 5 years of retire. I'm certified. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Picasso. That's cool. Well, once I work in the gym, once I have a gym of my own, that's just it. I'm looking to work in the gym before getting my own gym. I'm gonna find me a gym. I mean, New York be having gyms open all the time, but if you don't really know somebody who's opening up their own gym, it could be a problem sometimes. But before becoming the owner, I would love to work in the gym so that way I can get the feel of it. Because it's a lot to run a gym. It's a lot to run any business, and my gym can't just be a. It just can't be an ordinary gym. You know what I'm saying? It can't. Like I would have to not be perfect, but I would have to do it the right way or not do it at all. That's the thing. Thank you. I appreciate it. So it's baby steps in this. It's baby steps, Picasso. I'm always talking to Connor Loco, and I love talking to that brother, man. I love him to death, man, because the conversations we have about boxing and what you can do is just beautiful, man. Boxing opens the doors for so. If there's something in your life that opens the doors for you, man, take advantage of it, man. Any of you new content creators that just want to come in and might feel like you want to speak boxing, speak about what you want to talk about, stick to the topics that you want to talk about, and don't let anybody try to make you feel uncomfortable or make you feel like you got to join their side. You got to be on their team. You do what's best for you. You understand? Be on the right track. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna just open up a gym like when I started the channel. I'm gonna be honest with you, Picasso. When you guys used to see me all the time, and when y'all would go to where it says channel, and I had 2 subscribers, I could have had way more subscribers. I was doing a lot of my work on Instagram. I wasn't too sure if I wanted anything to do with YouTube because when I saw everything that was coming with it, the trolls, I didn't want no parts of it. And then I said, okay, I can't play YouTube forever. I mean, I can't play Instagram forever. At some point, I got to. And it was the best thing that I ever decided to do. Despite the drama that comes with it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the disrespect. I mean, it is what it is. But it's one of the best decisions I could have ever made. But I told myself, Picasso, right, and everybody, that I was either gonna start doing things the right way on here, or I wasn't gonna do it at all. Which means I wasn't going to follow what everybody else was doing and then say, that's what you do. So if I want to get on here and talk about amateur boxing, if somebody said, man, don't go to that dude's channel. His channel's boring because all he do is talk about amateur boxing. Nobody even knows who the hell he's talking about. I wasn't going to allow that to disrupt what it was that I was trying to do. I wasn't going to allow people to do that. I said, you know what? I'm going to make my own rules. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, but I also try to respect what the people want to hear. That's all I ever wanted to do. Every prospect fighter that people may not know about, that might just be coming from the amateurs, I say, yo, hey, listen, watch out for this guy. He might be a problem. I always try to spread love as much as I can. And that's all I be wanting to do. Now, everybody doesn't have to like what I say. A lot of people don't have to like how I say it. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's just something that I refuse to do. But yeah, when you're going for a gym or whatever it is that you're going for, yeah, you have to make sure. Yeah, things don't have to be perfect, but it has to be ran right and it has to be ran smooth. My goal also one day is to take a whole bunch of amateurs, um, take them to the nationals, take them to the Olympics. That's my goal, and it's gonna happen. Remember what I told you? You're gonna think. You gotta think big. My goal is to do that. My goal is to get into promoting, maybe matchmaking, maybe both. Right? One thing at a time. But if you got a, like Picasso said, if you got a niche, go for it. For a lot of these amateur fighters, boxing is not even a niche. Boxing just gives them something to do. A lot of these kids are not going to go pro, not because they're not good enough, because for some of them, that's not in their plan. For some of them, that's not in their plan. Some of them got a lot of other things that they might want to do. And then you got some that go, I want to go pro. And but I treat everybody the same way, rather if you want to go pro or not. If you don't go pro, it's all good. I'm still treating you with the same respect as if you were going pro. Because some people are funny. You ain't going pro now, all of a sudden they want to treat you like you ain't shit. Oh, he's wasting all his talent to go be a lawyer. But if that's what he want to be, that's what he wants to be. And while you making it fun of him, your ass might need him one day. You might end up needing him one day. So you might want to be careful with what you're saying, if that makes sense to anybody. But yes, you're right, Picasso. Everybody has to find that one thing that makes them feel good. You have to. And I hope everybody accomplish what it is that they're trying to do. Oh Lord, yeah, I don't want to have to stay on here till hold on, what time is it, y'all? 10:35. I'll try to make it to 9:50, 10:50. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. Usually at this time, y'all, I'm in bed, chilling, damn near ready to take it down. But it's all good. Yeah, eventually I'm gonna definitely do that. Definitely, I'll be back in the morning. Usually I do morning chop up in the morning, but I think we're gonna, since it's Throwback Thursday, we're gonna get right into some boxing. We're gonna jump right into some boxing. We're gonna jump into some boxing in the morning. But yeah, like I said, fight week, Strong Island Fight Night series this week. We'll try to reach out to some fighters that's on the card, and hopefully I can get some fighters on here Friday. If I can, I'm gonna work on it. See what I can do. But it's not televised. But you can go to YouTube. Strong Island, Strong Island's on YouTube. Is on Instagram. Christian Vasquez, go follow him. Um, and that's it, man. We'll be back. We'll be back. But tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., Throwback Thursday. I can't say who we gonna talk about. I'm gonna sit up for about 10 more minutes and think about it, and then I'll put it up in the thumbnail, and then we'll go from there, y'all. All right, that's how we do. But make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you share it out. Make sure you tell people, man. This is probably one of the best places that you can come to relax and take notes from each other, not just from me. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all know what it is. It's the No Duck Zone podcast. Let's go.